The other thing that I've had to learn is and it does is getting satisfaction from being with Emily, from being a good husband, from being, taking care of the house and all this stuff, having like a good life. Have worked on that, reprioritized it.
How did you reprioritize it? Because I say on here, I say in life all the time, it's like, it's very hard to change. Very hard to change your priorities.
Yes.
Without almost dying.
Yeah.
Honestly. How do you reprioritize your life in a way that it is real? Because everyone can fake like, no, I'm going to be...
Well, that's the thing. I don't know exactly the mechanisms for it. I know if I think of the changes between our relationship over the last, say, 5 years or so, it would be that from my side, I really have decided that I want to show all of myself to Emily. So I would be afraid of telling her thoughts that were embarrassing to admit. Like,
did you tell her about the Emmy meaning more than the Oscar?
I have not yet. I don't. Can you take that out?
Yeah,
I'll tell her that. But like thoughts about like self-doubt thoughts or scary thoughts or whatever it is, I would just keep it all inside and really have made an effort to like tell her, because I'll be in a bad mood and and in the past I would just take it out on her or something. And
yeah,
you have
to.
Yeah, but now really, really being like, hey, just so you know, I'm worried about this or I'm scared of this. It makes me feel better because I used to think, I think this is on the list too. I used to think saying all this stuff out loud made it real. It's the opposite. It takes it takes their power away. So doing that and genuinely wanting to know Emily more, I'm very lucky in that I'm with someone who is a wonderful and very fascinating, complicated, super funny person. I want to know more about her.
I don't know Emily very well at all, but I get the sense that she knows her way around humanity.
She was a therapist.
There you go.
She says hi, by the way.
Yes, I
she
say hi
really
back.
likes you.
The knows her way around like feelings, thoughts, emotions, grossness, embarrassment.
One of the most emotionally intelligent people I've ever met in my life, and that's why great producer, because she can. Really good at manipulating people. She understands this stuff. But she's very good at like making someone think they won and also getting what the larger goal is. And so I think that's been one of the biggest things, is really showing all my sides of myself that I may not necessarily be proud of, stuff I'm ashamed of. Sharing.
Did she know that you weren't sharing them? Could she sense that you weren't sharing them?
For years, dude.
Would she say something?
Yeah, she would ask, but really it was really working through it and deciding like, okay, I'm going to share. I mean, it was 3 vulnerable things about myself with you every day. And you have to make it like, and it has to be like stuff that's uncomfortable to share. It can't be like fake vulnerable, Sometimes you do, sometimes you dredge up some old
bottom of the
fucking
barrel.
thing.
Yeah.
But really making an effort every day to do that. 3 vulnerable things every day. And then just being stuck.
What time do you do that?
Whenever you can bring yourself to do it,
Meaning, is it ever like you wake up in the morning and you're like, all right, look, I spit on a squirrel one time. Like what?
When do I do it?
Yeah.
A lot of times you're cramming towards the end of the day.
No, I bet.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Does she have to do it?
She has to do it too. We were both doing it.
Are you guys thinking about downgrading to 2?
Oh, we're not doing that anymore.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
That was we did it for a few months, I would say. We did it for a few months, but I feel like now, and it was always I would say I was the one who was deficient. I feel like we're just a lot more connected and we really see each other and know each other a lot better. And
you were deficient in what way?
In not sharing myself completely, in like giving her a curated version of myself, because having shame, too much shame. I think a lot of it comes from religion too,
Mm-hmm.
The hard thing is, we met at a comedy show. So
she knew what she was getting herself. Emily, if you're watching, you knew what you were getting yourself into.
And she says, we just had our 16-year wedding anniversary last weekend, and we were at this nice dinner, her and I. And we were kind of having this open conversation about ourselves, and she was like, it's kind of like you, where she was like, from the beginning, I could tell you were very ambitious and that this work was very important to you. And I didn't think of myself as ambitious back then, because when we met, I was sort of stuck in a rut. I was in Chicago. I'd been there too long. All my friends who were funny, like Pete and Hannibal and everyone, had moved away, and I was still there, So it was bad for a very, very long time. I mean, when we moved to New York, I was dragging her to every open mic we did, and it was bad. And it felt like the entire marriage was catering to me. She would take care of everything else. And I mean, first,
why were you dragging her to open mics?
Well, because she didn't want to be at home alone. And then
Okay.
she sort of became friends with all these
Okay.
people, all these comics. That's who we were friends with. But
Yep.
it was stuff that I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
We moved to New York because I wanted to move to New York. We moved to LA because I got a job in LA.
Was this a given, or was this something you were slightly aware of? Like, this isn't great. This isn't exactly fair. This is a little selfish on my part. Or were you just in it and not even aware of it?
It took me a while to even become aware of it. I mean, when we were in New York, I was doing open mics at night, not making money, and she had a day job supporting us,
As it should be.
As it should be.
What's the unfair part?
And I was truly just staying up late at night, and she had to get up in the morning to go work, and I would be up till 4 a.m. It was like,
and you were loud back then too, right?
was-
Late and loud. That was your thing.
I was just alone in our apartment screaming out my bits.
Yep.
You know how you bat with a donut? It was like that. If
Yep.
you do stand up while you scream, then when you speak,
Then it's
so
like
much more
it's- yeah, yeah.
powerful. And then, she started talking about it, as obviously she should have. She was like, it just sucks that all of this is for you, and I don't get to really, she said she felt like she was sort of a afterthought to my career, and I sort of took her for granted. I really did.
Did you, when she said it, did you acknowledge it? Did you realize she is right and that's fucked up and I need to fix it?
I think initially I was like, oh, she's right. And now I'm angry at her for pointing it out.
Human beings.
Yeah, awful. And that's the other thing that I think in the last few years I've made a lot of progress in, is being like, having that anger at first and then being like, okay, why am I feeling that? What is the cause for it? Oh, it's because I'm embarrassed or I'm ashamed of the way of how I'm doing something that makes me angry at myself, and I'm directing it outwards.
I'm so not who I claim to be. In that regard, like I'm not a good husband. I'm not an ally. You're just like a selfish.
Yeah. And how dare you point that out to me? And it still is just, it's unfortunate, but the reality of my work, like, we were just in London for 4 months, and Emily comes with me, and she can do her work there because she's a writer.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very successful writer, but she's still coming there because of me. So
Right.
That's something that we decided that we're just going to try and be together as much as we can, because I don't know how people leave their families for months at a time and just don't see them. And so
They don't really care about their families.
They don't. I love Emily so much, and I love being with her, and I really need her.
And I kid, some people do care about their families and have to leave, but I think there are people that are just like, meh.
Oh, they love being away from their families.
Uh-huh.
Some people love being away from their families. I've worked with those people, but with Emily, so it's still a little unbalanced, in that way. But within that context, she is coming to London because of me. But we're going to do stuff that she wants to do. We're going to do a lot of stuff together. So we went on a lot of, dates to restaurants. And when I'm not working, really prioritize my time with her, our time together. I feel like I've gotten a lot better at it. And just understanding that acting and comedy is what I do and not who I am. Still a work in progress, but being thoughtful and intentional about it and thinking about it all the time. I think about it all the time.
Relationship,
I think about how to have worth divorced from what I do. Not there yet, because like you said, the heroin goes away sometime at some point,
Not if you got a few different dealers, then. Come on.
Well, I mean,
From what I understand, you got a couple different streams.
yeah, but what if the government cracks down? They
Yeah,
burn
they
the
start
fields
shutting
in
down clubs.
South America. Yeah, they
Yeah.
start shutting down clubs, whatever it is.
Well, that's okay. Well, my question is, what are the other values, buddy?
Being a good husband, that's one of them. Being a good friend.
So, ambition about being a good husband, is that like a possibility?
It's aspirational. Yeah, it's not ambition, I would say, but it is working towards each day being better at it and the doing of it and taking pride in it. That's the thing. It's not ambition and pride are so linked for me. It's, when you do well, you're like, oh, I did well. I was good. And then having to, and applying that thought process to being a good husband too. Like, oh, I did a good job. I set up a good day. That was a great trip we took. That was really
that's
fun.
interesting.
Applying the same math to it, and thinking about it like that. And I've gotten better at it. And a lot of it's therapy, and a lot of it is just reminding myself and talking to myself. And the other thing is, the people talk about this all the time, the way you talk to yourself. If other people talk to me the way I talk to myself, they would not be my friend.
They'd be your wife. Folks, we'll be right back after this. Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe, and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.